Welcome back to the channel USA Coins 69. Today, we're embarking on a fascinating journey into the world of American numismatics to explore a truly iconic piece of history, the United States 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1957. This little copper coin may seem like just another penny, but it carries a legacy and a value that can surprise even the most seasoned collectors. So buckle up, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand why this seemingly ordinary penny is anything but ordinary, and how it could be worth a small fortune in the right hands. Let's rewind the clock for a moment. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series was first introduced way back in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This coin was revolutionary for its time. Lincoln was the first real person to grace a U.S. coin, breaking away from the classical allegorical figures that had dominated previous designs. The wheat ears on the reverse side symbolize prosperity and growth, and this design remained a beloved staple of American coinage until 1958, making the 1957 penny one of the final years of this classic series. Now, the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny was minted in Philadelphia, so it doesn't carry a mint mark, yet it's still a coin that collectors actively seek out. Why? Because it represents the twilight of an era before the design shifted to the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. This makes the 1957 penny one of the last wheat pennies in circulation, adding historical significance to its already rich heritage. But what really makes the 1957 wheat penny special, and possibly worth a hefty sum, comes down to a combination of factors: condition, rarity, and unique features that distinguish some coins from the millions produced. While billions of these pennies were minted, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is increasingly rare. Most pennies spent decades in circulation, suffering wear and tear from hands, pockets, and the passage of time. The few surviving coins that look as fresh as the day they left the mint can fetch significant sums from collectors. If you manage to find a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny in mint state condition, that is, showing no signs of circulation wear and boasting a sharp strike with vibrant luster, you're already holding a coin that stands out in the crowd. Collectors love coins graded MS 65 and above because these specimens look practically flawless. Such coins are often found in carefully preserved collections rather than loose change. Another aspect that can dramatically increase the value of a 1957 wheat penny is the presence of minting errors or variations. Sometimes, during the production process, coins would be struck twice, resulting in what's known as a double die error, where the design elements appear doubled, especially noticeable on the date or lettering. These double die pennies are some of the most sought-after error coins by collectors worldwide. Additionally, some pennies exhibit off-center strikes, missing details, or other anomalies that make them unique and valuable. Imagine holding a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny, uncirculated and gleaming with original mint luster, but with a clear doubling of the date or the word Liberty. This coin becomes a numismatic treasure, a rare artifact that tells a story about the intricacies of the minting process and the era in which it was made. Owning such a coin is like having a tiny piece of American history that can also hold impressive monetary value. Speaking of value, you might be wondering what a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny could fetch on the collector's market. While most pennies from this era are worth only a few cents or a couple of dollars in circulated condition, a pristine, error-free example graded in top condition can command prices that truly astonish. And if your penny has one of those rare doubling errors or other minting anomalies, you could be looking at an incredible payout. In fact, there are recorded sales where a top-graded 1957 Lincoln wheat penny, especially those with notable mint errors, have sold for an astounding $80,000. Yes, you heard that right, $80,000 for a coin that started its life as a humble penny. So, what's the takeaway here? If you stumble upon a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Examine the details carefully. Is the date crisp? Are the wheat ears sharp and clear? Do you see any signs of doubling or unusual markings? If you find a coin in exceptional condition or with unique features, it might be worth having it professionally graded and appraised. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating pieces of American numismatic history, the United States 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1953, specifically the version minted in Denver, marked by that famous little D. You might think a penny is just a penny, but trust me, this particular coin holds an extraordinary story, and some specimens have reached jaw-dropping values that could completely change the way you see your spare change. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll be amazed at the legacy and worth of the 1953 D Lincoln wheat penny. Let's begin with the broader context. The Lincoln wheat penny series was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. The reverse side showcases two stalks of wheat, symbols of prosperity and agricultural richness, which remained on the coin until 1958. This means the 1953 penny was produced near the end of the wheat design era, making it historically significant for collectors who appreciate the artistry and symbolism. Now, the 1953 penny minted in Denver carries the D Mint mark, which tells us it was produced at the Denver Mint. Denver is known for producing high-quality coins, and the 1953 D Lincoln wheat penny is no exception. That year, over 682 million pennies were struck at Denver, making it relatively common in terms of sheer numbers. However, what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary is the condition and certain rare features or minting errors that can elevate a coin from simple pocket change to a prized collector's item. Most 1953 D pennies you'll come across are well-worn, circulated pennies showing years of wear and tear. But the real value lies in finding one in near-perfect condition, something collectors call mint state or MS condition. In particular, coins graded MS 65 and above can command premium prices because they look almost like the day they left the mint, with sharp details, original luster, and no scratches or discoloration. But what if your 1953 D penny isn't just in pristine condition? What if it has something unique, a minting error? Error coins from this year are highly sought after, including double dies, where parts of the design, date, or letters appear doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. These doubling effects can be subtle or dramatic, but they're extremely rare and make the coin stand out among millions of others. Other interesting errors include off-center strikes, where the coin's design is partially missing because it wasn't perfectly aligned during minting, and die cracks, lines or fissures that appear on the coin due to a cracked die used during production. Each error coin tells a fascinating story about the minting process and makes it a one-of-a-kind collectible. Imagine holding a 1953 D Lincoln wheat penny in your hand, gleaming with almost no signs of wear, the details of Lincoln's profile crisp and clear, the wheat stalks perfectly defined on the reverse. Now imagine this coin also shows a clear double die on the date or lettering, a minting anomaly that only a handful of coins from this batch have. This combination makes the coin a true numismatic treasure, sought after by collectors worldwide. Now let's talk about value, because that's what really brings this coin into the spotlight. While a typical circulated 1953 D penny might be worth only a few cents or dollars, those rare mint state examples and especially error coins have made headlines for selling at astounding prices. The collector's market can be incredibly competitive, with passionate enthusiasts willing to pay top dollar for these rarities. In fact, some exceptional 1953 D Lincoln wheat pennies, particularly those with rare minting errors and flawless condition, have sold for as much as $88,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $88,000 for a single penny. So, next time you're sifting through a jar of old coins or checking your change, keep an eye out for that little D mint mark on a 1953 Lincoln wheat penny. If it looks pristine or shows any unusual markings or doubling, you might just be holding a piece of history that could turn into a very valuable collectible. Today, we're going on a fascinating journey through time to uncover the story and value of a true classic, the United States 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1958. While pennies often get overlooked in everyday life, this particular coin is a hidden gem with a rich history and impressive value that might just blow your mind. So, get ready for an in-depth exploration, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny is so special, and why it could be worth a small fortune. Let's start by setting the stage. The Lincoln wheat penny series was first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was revolutionary because it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than the traditional allegorical figures. On the reverse side, 2 stalks of wheat symbolized prosperity and growth, a design that remained until 1958. That means the 1958 penny is part of the last batch of these beloved wheat pennies, making it historically significant as a closing chapter in one of America's most cherished coin designs. Now, when we look at the 1958 Lincoln wheat penny, we find it minted in Philadelphia, meaning it carries no mint mark. However, despite being produced in vast quantities, this coin holds a special place in the hearts of collectors, especially those who treasure coins in pristine condition or with rare minting anomalies. One reason why the 1958 wheat penny is fascinating is because it marks the final year before the coin's reverse was changed to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959, which itself became an iconic image for decades. So, 1958 represents the end of an era, making these pennies sought after as collectors begin to appreciate the historical transition. The U.S. Mint produced over 2 billion pennies in 1958, so on the surface, it seems like a common coin you might find anywhere. But, as with most coins, rarity and condition are what create value. Finding a 1958 wheat penny in perfect, uncirculated condition is rare, as most coins were spent, lost, or circulated heavily. The key to a valuable coin lies in its grade, how well it has been preserved over the decades. Collectors prize coins graded MS 65 or higher, which means mint state condition with almost no signs of wear, full luster, and sharp details. In this condition, the coin looks almost like it just came out of the mint's packaging, with every feature crisp and clear, from Lincoln's profile to the delicate wheat stalks on the reverse. But it's not just condition that can boost the value. Sometimes, minting errors or unique variations can make a coin a rare treasure. Errors might include double dies, where the design elements, such as the date or lettering, appear doubled due to misalignment during production. These double die pennies are some of the most coveted error coins in the hobby, often commanding significantly higher prices. Other errors can include off-center strikes, where the coin is struck slightly askew, missing parts of the design, or die cracks, tiny fissures in the coin's surface caused by a cracked die. Each error is like a fingerprint, making the coin one of a kind and highly desirable among collectors. Imagine holding a 1958 Lincoln wheat penny in your hand. It gleams with original mint luster, the wheat stalks are perfectly detailed, and the date, 1958, is sharp and clear. Now, imagine that same coin shows a clear doubling on the date or lettering. This isn't just a coin, it's a piece of minting history, a rare artifact that tells a unique story of the U.S. Mint's production. So, how much could such a coin be worth? While most 1958 pennies in circulated condition are worth only a few cents to a couple of dollars, those in pristine condition or featuring rare minting errors have been known to command staggering sums. Recently, collectors have paid upwards of $81,500 for a top-graded, error-free or error-bearing 1958 Lincoln wheat penny. That's right, $81,500 for a single penny. This incredible value underscores the importance of paying attention to the coins you have. What looks like an ordinary penny might just be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. So, next time you come across a 1958 Lincoln wheat penny, take a closer look. Check its condition carefully and look for any unusual features or minting errors. If you find a coin in excellent condition or with any anomalies, consider having it professionally graded. It could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Today, we're diving deep into an iconic piece of American history, the United States 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1953. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just curious about the stories behind coins, stick around, because this little penny has a lot to say, and its value might just surprise you. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny is so important and how one of these humble coins can be worth a small fortune. Let's start with a bit of background. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, launched in 1909, was a tribute to Abraham Lincoln's centennial birthday. This series marked a big shift in American coinage by placing the first real historical figure on a circulating coin. The reverse design, featuring 2 wheat stalks, symbolized prosperity and the agricultural roots of the country. The wheat design remained in use until 1958, so the 1953 penny falls near the middle of this iconic series, during a period when America was recovering and thriving post-World War II. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny was minted in 3 places: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked D; and San Francisco, marked S. Today, we're focusing on the 1953 pennies in general, but this story applies broadly, as all have their own unique appeal to collectors. The coin itself might seem ordinary at first glance; after all, billions of these pennies were produced. But, as with many coins, the devil is in the details. Condition, rarity, and any minting errors can turn a regular penny into a treasure. Now, while millions of these pennies were minted and circulated, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is becoming increasingly rare. Most 1953 pennies you'll find show the wear and tear of decades in circulation. However, collectors prize pennies graded MS-65 or higher, which means they look almost brand new, full of that original coppery shine, with sharp details that make Lincoln's profile and the wheat stalks practically leap off the coin. Another reason the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny attracts attention is due to minting errors that occasionally occurred. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die, a minting mishap where parts of the coin's design appear doubled, especially on the date or lettering. These double die coins are incredibly rare and highly collectible. Other errors include off-center strikes, where the coin's image is partially missing because it was struck incorrectly, and die cracks, which are tiny lines caused by a cracked die that left its mark on the coin. Imagine holding a 1953 penny in your hand that looks untouched by time. The date and lettering are sharp, the wheat stalks perfectly defined, and maybe, just maybe, you notice a slight doubling on the date or Liberty. This would instantly make your penny a prized find. These unique characteristics transform an everyday coin into a numismatic masterpiece. So, what is this coin worth? You might be surprised. While many circulated 1953 pennies sell for mere cents or a couple of dollars, those rare high-grade, uncirculated examples, and especially those with minting errors, can command seriously high prices. Collectors and investors alike seek out these coins for their rarity and beauty. There have been recorded sales where a top-tier 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny, particularly those with error characteristics and flawless condition, have sold for as much as $86,800. Yes, you heard that right, $86,800 for a single penny. This kind of value underscores the importance of examining your coins carefully. What may seem like an ordinary penny could very well be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. If you ever find yourself with a 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny, especially in excellent condition or showing unusual markings, consider having it professionally graded and appraised. It could turn out to be much more valuable than you think. Today, we're zeroing in on a real classic, the United States 1-cent Lincoln Wheat penny from 1954. At first glance, it might look like just an everyday penny, but trust me, there's a lot more to this small piece of copper than meets the eye. So buckle up, because by the end of this deep dive, you'll know exactly why the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny is a coveted collectible, and why some specimens are worth a staggering amount of money. Let's kick things off with a bit of history to set the scene. The Lincoln Wheat penny was first introduced back in 1909, marking a major shift in American coinage. It was the first circulating coin to feature a real person, President Abraham Lincoln, to commemorate his 100th birthday. The reverse side of these pennies showcases 2 stalks of wheat, symbols of prosperity, growth, and America's strong agricultural roots. This design was used all the way up until 1958, so the 1954 penny is right in the heart of that era, a time when the United States was experiencing post-war growth and optimism. The 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, the Denver ones carry a D, and the San Francisco issues sport an S. Each mint has its own stories and quirks, but collectively, these coins were produced in the hundreds of millions, making them relatively common at first glance. However, as with most coins, the true value lies in the details, specifically, the coin's condition, rarity, and any unique minting errors. Speaking of condition, most 1954 pennies found today are circulated, showing the wear of decades in pockets and cash registers. But if you can find a 1954 Lincoln wheat penny in mint state condition, meaning it looks nearly perfect, with its original shine and sharp details intact, you've struck numismatic gold. Coins graded MS 65 or above are particularly prized, with collectors willing to pay significant premiums for these near-perfect examples, but that's just the start. What really excites collectors are the rare minting errors that occasionally pop up. One of the most famous and sought-after types is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design elements, usually the date or lettering, are struck twice in slightly different positions, creating a noticeable doubling effect. Such coins are incredibly rare and tend to sell for much higher prices than their standard counterparts. Other intriguing errors include off-center strikes, where the coin's image is partially missing because the metal blank wasn't perfectly aligned during minting, and die cracks, which are tiny fissures appearing on the coin's surface due to a cracked die. Each of these errors makes a coin unique and adds a fascinating chapter to its story. Imagine holding a 1954 Lincoln wheat penny in your hand. The copper gleams with original luster, Lincoln's profile is crisply defined, and the wheat stalks on the back show every intricate line. Now picture that same coin showing a clear double die on the date or Liberty. It's no longer just a coin, it's a rare piece of history that collectors would fight to own. Now, let's talk numbers, because that's what many of you are here for. While circulated 1954 pennies might only be worth a few cents or dollars, those in pristine condition, especially with notable minting errors, can fetch surprisingly high prices. In fact, exceptional examples have been known to sell for upwards of $85,300. Yes, you heard that correctly, $85,300 for a single penny. This remarkable value is a powerful reminder that even the smallest, most common coins can sometimes hold immense worth, depending on their condition and uniqueness. So, next time you come across a 1954 Lincoln wheat penny, don't just toss it in your coin jar. Take a closer look, examine the date, the mint mark, and the condition. If it's well preserved or shows any unusual features, consider getting it professionally graded. You might just have a hidden treasure in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me on this detailed exploration of the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny. If you enjoyed this video and want to uncover more hidden gems from the world of coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Keep your collections growing, your eyes sharp, and remember, the smallest coins can sometimes hold the greatest treasures. Happy collecting!